technology, diversity, wine, the redwoods, and everything in between. Welcome to the Northern California Bay Area, and one show takes you inside the real estate that makes it all happen. This is By the Bay.
Hey everyone, welcome back to By the Bay. I'm your host, Dan Anchetta, and I am here with Ash Gomez from Digital Twinners, who is the premier, I want to get this right, hold on. It is the one-stop solution for all your real estate media services. Yeah.
Thank you.
So you do digital photography, videography, drone footage, and a bunch of other support for the real estate community, helping them kind of get their listings market ready.
Yep.
Right?
That's correct.
So welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And tell us a little about the business and who you serve, where you serve them, and we'll go from there.
Sure thing. So my name is Ashley Gomez, Digital Twinners. We do pretty much a one-stop shop for realtors. So we do all their branded videos, their listing videos, photos, Twilight.
So it's not just for the houses. You're talking about the branding for them as well, their headshots, their kind of all of their digital content, the photography around them, video for them, so that they can, kind of address the market and make sure that people know who they are, that they're not secret agents, and they're going. So that's well beyond the scope of what I described. So you're doing a better job.
Definitely. I like to say that I help realtors achieve their business goals and their personal goals by enhancing their brand online. And what that means is basically making their listings stand out from their competition, making them stand out from their competition, because nowadays people go straight to the internet when they're looking for their realtor or looking for anything really. And so that's kind of like their resume, so to speak. And so if you can make those videos look good, which means you're making the realtor look good, in turn they're getting more clients that way.
So it makes a lot of sense that like having it all be in line and it all makes sense together, right? Because if you got like amazing headshots, everything else, and then you're taking, iPhone pictures of your listings, like it doesn't make sense to the overall brand. It all has to be consistently done, right?
Exactly. Because people are going to fear that if you're taking a listing photo here with your phone, then that's probably the same service they're going to get for their own listing.
Right.
And why would they want to choose to work with someone like that when they can work with someone else for maybe the same, price point, so to speak, but get all this other, media included, knowing that their listing will stand out amongst their competition.
Yeah, I think probably the best advertiser for you is like the bad real estate pictures, like those Instagram accounts. Those things drive me insane. It's like, who put that on the internet, and like, why don't you have someone that's on your team to handle that? So how did you get into this field? Why was this an interest to you? And kind of walk us back through the backstory, and then we'll get into what's going on in the market today.
Yeah, definitely. Honestly, it was completely accidental. My father had passed away in 2019, and it really just shook up my whole world. And a couple months later, the pandemic hit, and the company I was working for allowed us to stay at home and get paid full time. So I took full advantage of that, and I was a little embarrassing, but I was playing Nintendo Switch with my little brother who lives in SoCal, and it's kind of like our way to connect. And we were playing for a couple hours, and I was just having so much fun. But I was looking at my hands, and I was like, man, like, why can't I like have a business that brings me this much joy? And as I was looking at my hands, I was like, wait a minute, I can fly drones. So I started diving straight into the drone business, got connected with this gentleman who was just starting up his own drone business out in the Bay Area. So I helped him get clients while he taught me the ins and outs, and he was focused in real estate, doing 3D virtual tours and photos and stuff. And after a few months of working together, he had to fly out back to his home country to help India create their own government drone program.
Okay.
So, yeah,
wow.
Random. But he took all the equipment, and it was a week before my birthday. And I was like, you know what? Like, I know how to get clients. I know how to do the service. Like, let me just invest in myself. So
as a birthday gift to yourself, you started your own business and bought the equipment and took it off from there.
Yeah, basically 2 months later, quit the full-time job and been doing this ever since. So it's going on about 2.5 years now.
Amazing. And how has it been in terms of the shifts in the market, and how has that helped or hurt your business?
Honestly, starting in the middle of the pandemic was probably the best way to start, because it was such high competition, because homes are literally flying off the shelves. Like, literally, you'd post a home, next day you'd have 5 offers, 6 offers on there. So I really had to help separate myself from other photographers and give them more of a solution. And my dad was a realtor before he had passed away. And as I started with the business, I started gravitating more and more towards realtors, and I found that they have a very similar personality type. They wear a bunch of different hats. They're a gardener, therapist, stager, and then once in a while they get a little crazy look in their eye when they've done too many documents, too many phone calls. And so I really want to position myself to help solve all the issues that I wish I could have for my dad in his business, which was to make him look good, make his listing stand out, help him get more clients, help him, build his brand online. And so it's kind of like what I've done with digital twinners. Like I'm with realtors, like when they're working with me, they know that they're going to get my all with every single shoot, and that I'm going to make them look the best as possible, especially with their listing, and help their clients out as well.
That's amazing. Yeah. And part of like a listing presentation, excuse me, a listing presentation is bringing in the kind of library of homes that they've sold, and there's no way to represent that besides amazing photography and everything else. And that's going to put them over the top, if there's a competition for the listing. So what's your kind of brand approach when you're taking on a new client and they may or may not have a listing ready for you? You're looking at their overall kind of positioning in their digital media and making sure that they're revamping their social and looking at their website and their photography and everything else. Walk me through that process and how you're really like digging into their brand identity and helping them sort out that messaging through your kind of your photography and so on.
Yeah. So usually when a client reaches out to me, I like to have like a branding session with them, like a discovery call where I get to know them. I like to see pictures that they've gotten in the past with their listings, kind of see their style. Because everyone likes something a little bit different, like I have some realtors who do not want any toilets in any photos. So I have to like go really above and beyond with the bathrooms for them. But I wouldn't know that if I didn't have that discovery call with them. So really just dive in, get to know them, their business, what are their goals, and see how I can help, position myself for them. And then we take a look at their website. We'll take a look at their Instagram. They'll normally show me some like other videos and things that they've liked in the past. And then from there, we just, set up a date, whether it's for the videos for their social media or whether it's for their listing. And then afterwards, we always have a call, just kind of review everything, especially on our first time working together. I want to make sure that I meet their standards and their expectations. So we make sure that like you have basically unlimited revisions with me. Like I don't care if we have to go back to the drawing board 10 times, like we're going to get this right. And so I really want to make sure that I understand them and their brand and what they're trying to do and just kind of help match my company with what their goals are. Yeah,
that's amazing. And obviously we'll link up in the show notes for your Instagram and website and stuff so people can see your work.
Thank you.
But yeah, watching you're busy, right? There's like always like, hey, no, we're going to another shoot. Here's more photos from today. Here's what we're doing today. So what is the market trend looking like? Because you're a leading indicator, because people don't get pictures taken of their house unless they're really serious about listing it. They have a listing agreement signed. They have a coming to market date and they're waiting for a break in the rain or whatever it is to get those photos taken and released. So what are you seeing trend wise right now? Like, are you busy? Is it slower? What type of like differences? Are there different types of houses that you're getting calls on now, or kind of walk us through that?
Yeah. So right now it's been interesting. I want to say the weather's kind of throwing a little wrench in the plans there just because of the weather. But overall with the market, I'm seeing a mixture of two things. I'm either seeing a client dive all the way in, we're getting the works, we're getting the video, we're getting the twilight photos, we're doing the 3D, or I'm getting hey, I just posted some pictures with my phone and I've gotten some offers already, like we're gonna have to cancel the appointment. It's not really an in-between right now. It's like one or the other. It's kind of reminding me of like pre-pandemic times where we have some homes that are getting 5, 6, 10 offers on it, or we have, a couple homes that maybe a client just chose to do photos on only, and they've been sitting on the market for 90 days. Right. So right now I'm really seeing the importance of like, if you're going to have a listing, like go all in, because if you go all in, you're going to get those offers. And I've noticed too with the price point in some of the listings, like when my clients are pricing at a very higher price to try to, meet what their client wants, those are definitely sitting on the market a lot longer than the ones I've seen maybe a little bit, not necessarily lower price, but just more price competitively, that I've seen just a bunch of offers come in on those. So I would say invest in the listing right now because of where the market's going and how I've been seeing it go at the moment. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, we're seeing, multiple offers on houses that are priced well, and then looking at inventory that's like, at first glance, you're like, oh, that house is going to sell quick. And then, the comps don't necessarily support the value, and it sits for a while. You see a couple price reductions, and definitely one of the, I think maybe you can speak to it, but I'm assuming that if someone kind of tries to go DIY on it and they're doing iPhone photos and they're not, the hand in the picture and the mirror, that sort of thing.
Seen too many of those.
Yeah, hysterical. That you might be called in when the option is like, hey, we're changing agents and we need to bring this back to market. We're going to let it sit, for a while off market and bring it back on. And instead of recycling the pictures that didn't work and the kind of branding that didn't work, we're going to bring in professionals that are going to come in here and, change the staging and make it look different and optimize the space and then bring it back to market. Is that a fair assumption?
Definitely.
Okay.
I've maybe had 5 or 6 photo shoots in the last 2 months, I would say, that people are paying me to reshoot the whole entire thing because they've decided to now stage the property, or they've gotten some renovations done to the property. To where I think like 3 or 4 of those listings have already sold ever since we just did we just updated photos with staging on there.
Staging and photos go a long way. I mean, like you said earlier, the consumer starts their journey online, right? And if you've got bad pictures and there's no floor plan, you don't know what it looks like, you're not going to drive to the house to go look at it, right? Mm-hmm. It has to like capture your imagination from the jump, and like the staging and good photography and good lighting, and it goes a really long way.
You have to supply the vibe and the ambiance these days because so many people are going through Zillow and just clicking. I had a client tell me, or their client tell me, it's like real estate porn for her. She's just there just clicking through all those photos. And so when you have your buyers, just doing that all the time, like you're going to want to make sure that it stands out because they're going to get desensitized or just numb from just seeing the same basic pictures over and over and over again.
Yeah. And that kind of speaks to like what realtor, like, are you seeing more experienced realtors that are coming to you and saying, hey, we want you to be part of our team? Is it newer realtors or is it across the board?
I would say it is kind of across the board, but I would say I'm getting a lot more realtors who have been in the game for a very long time and are looking to spice it up or looking to change it up, looking to hire somebody who is understanding of what's working right now, what are the latest trends, who's up to date. And just because traditional photos just aren't doing it anymore. Right. Anybody can have great photos. There's a lot of photographers who have way better photos than I do, but it's all that they get with me. They're getting the social media insight and...
Yeah, so speak to that. Like, what is working, right? So, like, What are the trends right now? If you were, like, from what you've learned, if you were like, hey, I'm going to become a realtor tomorrow, like, what would you do to maximize the sale price, to kind of put yourself above everyone else?
First of all, I would clean the home. Get the house clean, get it power washed, get the windows washed, stage the home if you can. But definitely, just because we do have virtual staging options for the clients don't have that type of budget. But I would say making some type of staging in there, getting the twilight photos and a video. We need to have that video. Normally when the agent is inside the video, it sells a lot faster because people are feeling that personal vibe. They see the person there, see the person with the house, and so that trends to sell a lot faster. But just getting a video of the home, people are as much as I love photo is kind of like not becoming obsolete, but going on the lower side to where the videos and the twilight photos are twilights I would say are probably like number one right now. People want to see that sunset.
People love that sunset shot,
that
don't
sunset vibe, yeah. And
it's talking before, like the uplighting on the landscaping and the sun. Oh man,
yes,
bring it on. I really like the agent videos where they kind of introduce, like, hey, they're like standing in the home and I'm at 123 Banana Street and this is what's going on, blah blah blah, and then it kind of like takes you on the guided tour and then like do a voiceover to kind of explain, because it's really hard to visualize for me personally. Like, I can't walk through the house in my mind. I need someone to like put it right in front of me.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just the way my brain works, but it's interesting because I will click through a bunch of stuff, but the ones I stop and watch are the ones that are like, I'm the realtor, this is what we're doing, this is the price, blah, blah, blah. And like, let me take you on a tour. And then they do a voiceover as the camera goes through.
Exactly.
Why don't people do that more often? Is it hard to do?
I don't know if it's not hard to do. It's just getting the person comfortable being on screen. You know, a lot of people like the way their voice sounds or the way they look on camera.
Sure. And having done a weekly podcast for almost a year now, I can tell you it's true. No one likes the way that they look or sound, but we kind of have to get over it, right?
Exactly. And so that's actually one thing that I do help my clients get through is overcoming that fear of like being on camera, being hearing their voice on camera, to where if you're going to do branded videos with me, I want to make sure that the day that we are filming that you're comfortable and everything on camera. So how do we do that? That's you looking in front of your phone, saying a video and sending it to me and getting some feedback. And I would say on those agent videos, like if you have a script, which there's plenty of ways to get scripts nowadays, ChatGPT is the easiest way, just to, write a script out, and just practice it for a few days, practice in front of the mirror, practice in front of your family, start recording yourself, getting used to yourself being in front of that video so that by the time that come film day, you're already ready to go. You've already put in all the work. But I just think it's just that comfort level and understanding like where someone's at when it comes to being in front of a video.
Nice. So that's part of like your intake, like what's your experience with video?
Oh yeah.
How comfortable are you? And before we go and try to do this in real time and like we have a deadline because we got to list this house, like let's get you comfortable and have you tried a couple times so that we're, having an easier time.
Exactly.
When it comes to the actual filming day. Okay. So what other trends, like what else would you be doing? So walkthroughs, cleaning the house, professional photography, and so on. Any other tips or things? Talk a little bit about how you're helping clients with their social media engagement.
Yeah. So first of all, I was just taking a look to see what they like. There's so many different realtors doing so many different style videos. So there's so many different ways that they can go about it. So just understanding like, what is your vibe? What is your style? Like, are you very laid back? Are you like kind of like nonchalant? Or are you very like high energy, and like not aggressive, but just having that like high energy type of vibe. And then just figuring out how to match your style to that. Now, is it like a podcast style video that we're doing? Is it you walking down the street and we're recording you doing that type of style? But it really just depends on the client and what they're looking for. Like with my dad, I would say he just want to be in front of the screen, just, talking jokes and being humorous. And so I would try to highlight something like that for him. We have some clients that are just very analytical, very number-ish type of people. And we just want to dive in on that. Let's be analytical. Like how does being analytical help your clients, help you with the numbers part of it?
Sure.
So it really just depends on the person and just being able to extract that. Now, whether it's in a form of a video, maybe doing some lifestyle stuff, showing around your favorite coffee shop, where I think that that's like a huge opportunity for realtors and their brand. It's like, you're not only selling yourself, like you're selling Sonoma County, you're selling Santa Rosa, you're selling Petaluma. You're going to want to highlight those areas. Like, what's your favorite restaurant there? What's your favorite coffee shop? Link up with the owner saying, hey, do you mind if I do a quick video? Like, you can probably get free lunch by doing that, but at the same time, you're highlighting your favorite spots. And so it's just like thinking outside the box. There was a video I had seen online a few weeks ago where this realtor's like just bashing his listing. He's like, you're probably going to hate this video. You're probably going to hate this house. And it was probably one of the greatest videos I'd ever seen online.
That's interesting. That's so like counterintuitive, right?
Right. And so it's just thinking outside the box, but also connecting that with the person themselves and their brand and their vision.
I think, we talk a lot about the initial impression that you make on people. And like when you get referred to somebody, the first thing you do is Google them, right? You look them up on social, you check out their Instagram, you're looking at their TikTok, whatever it is, like you want to find out who they are and what they're all about. And if you've got some stale old stuff from, 2014, it's not like people are like, well, they don't even post. They're not even really there. How am I supposed to get to know you? Right. Before. And if you have a series of referrals, like I referred to 3 different people, I'm going to look them up. And whoever I feel like makes most sense for me based off of what I find on the internet about them, they're the person I'm going to call first. Yes. Right. So if you want to be called first, you have to have that reputation kind of built up and have like that library of content for them to visit. So you're helping with that, like auditing that and then saying, hey, there's nothing here about you. There's all these things about houses, but let's go do this video at the coffee shop.
Yeah. Trying to give that value back, make it personable, because no one wants to do business with a business at the end of the day. They want to do business with a person. They're choosing to work with you at the end of the day. And they're not choosing to, work with digital twinners. Like none of my clients even sometimes don't even know how to say my business name. They're like digital twiners or, and it's more than okay because they're choosing to work with me though,
Yeah, like the real estate office or whoever the mortgage company you're tied to is important, but it's not, the customer doesn't choose you for that reason.
Exactly.
Right? They choose you because of you and how you make them feel.
Yep.
Right. So kind of overall trend wise, I think I asked you earlier, I don't think I finished the question. How far out are you booked? Are you booked out weeks? Is it, talk to us about like what the trend is in terms of what you're seeing. Again, you're a leading indicator.
Yeah.
And if people are having pictures taken, that means there's more listings coming. We're just constantly hearing there's not enough inventory throughout the Bay Area. There's just no houses to sell. Plenty of people out shopping, no houses to sell them. What do you, tell us some good news, hopefully.
Well, this week I've got probably around 10 photo shoots ready to go. And then next week, probably around 5 to 7. So I would say I'm about 2 weeks out. We have a lot of people who are doing twilight photo shoots right now. I'm pretty much booked up for the next 2 weeks on
and
just
you can just
twilights.
do one of those a day, unfortunately, right?
Yeah, unfortunately. Unfortunately, it's kind of late. Yeah. But you get the best shots, and I absolutely love sunset, so it's a win-win for me. But I would say, yeah, it's just in that weird mixture. We have the listings coming up, but they are selling so fast. Or we, are reinvesting in some of our listings and making them stand out even more. So I'm seeing a mixture of the two. But it's definitely giving me like pandemic vibes again with just like how fast the houses are flying off the shelves. And then at the same time, you have those ones that are sitting there, but it's probably because of, some of those comps or the marketing around those homes.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, you got to have good marketing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you're just not showing up well digitally, then you're not going to get the foot traffic through to do that. Geographically, where are you covering? Is there a special like concentration for you, or?
Primarily in Sonoma County, but I will travel anywhere. I've gone all the way to SoCal, to Denver, to Florida.
Wow.
Yeah, for different listings and stuff. So, but pretty much primarily focused in Sonoma County. And I would say a lot of my listings coming up right now are within Santa Rosa. But there is also an uptick in vacation rentals. I think people are getting their vacation rentals ready. I have quite a bit of those coming up.
Right. Because they're changing the rules countywide on the moratorium for the way they get permits to do that. So that means that there's going to be more of options for people to use like VRBO or Airbnb. So they're looking, so you're doing the like kind of evergreen photography for them. So that's a list, like essentially listing photography, but it goes on the website all the time.
Yeah.
Right.
That, and then with them, also offer like some special shots for them just to have it get more of that feel and more of that vibe. So if someone's looking at the photos, they can actually feel like, oh, I'm at this, vacation rental. I can envision myself there.
On vacation, sitting here, this is the spot I want to sit in to imagine. Yeah, totally.
Exactly.
I want to hear about this trip to Florida. Like, what type of house? I can't have just been like a track house, like, middle of the road. That must have been a pretty amazing house to fly you all the way across the country.
Yeah, so that one was a little bit special. That one in particular was for a builder who was looking to basically like remodel their home. So I did a little bit different type of services there. It was kind of like a mapping service. So I'll go with one of my cameras and go through and document the home so that they can, and then with my drone, map it out, and they can take that information and send it to an architect, and they can completely redesign the home. They can add an infinity pool, add an ADU to it. And so, yeah, I'm very grateful that they decided to work with me, even though I'm all the way out in California and
that's
flew
really
me
cool.
out there.
I never thought about that application of the like Matterport or whatever type of like imaging system that you might use. Mm-hmm. That's not just to have a walking tour of the house that you have, but I never thought about that being a tool that an architect could use because it measures everything, and then you can kind of alter that in altered reality, and then you can walk through a digital reproduction of your house.
Oh, definitely. I've done it for a lot of big brands too, like Home Depot, Chick-fil-A, AT&T, where they send me in there with the Matterport camera, kind of like in a merchandising way where they're able to help get their stores all on the same level, redesigning some of their stores there, and being able to just see what's live on the products, like what's on the sales floor right this second.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Interesting application for the technology.
Oh, yeah. There's like a million things you can do with Matterport. I just found myself gravitating more and more towards real estate and realtors. But I do, dabble in some of those projects as well.
Cool. Technology's accelerating so quickly. Mm-hmm. and we're looking at all these different, you mentioned ChatGPT earlier, but there's all these image generation, AI tools, and everything else. What, if you're advising a realtor, what type of technology should they be aware of? What's coming down that you think is going to influence kind of real estate in the future?
Oh, definitely. Well, ChatGPT is one. If you guys haven't heard of it, I definitely recommend looking into that. That will transform your property descriptions, your scripts for your videos, emails to your client, just literally absolutely everything. There's also other services like Vivid.io, where somebody can essentially hook up a little webcam, say their speech on there, and it'll help AI edit basically the video for them. What else is there? And I know with those image generators, I have to be aware of that, with me being in the industry. Sure. But you tested them out. They're not exactly perfect yet, but honestly, I wouldn't mind if a client's using, that type of technology for their listings, and rather them use that than their cell phone. I hate seeing like the hand coming out from the closet,
There's some really classic bad ones. I actually like the ones that are intentionally bad, like they have Easter, like they hide things in each of the photos. Like that's always kind of funny to me.
Yeah, there's this one. There's this. You could tell the guy took it from like a corner of a bedroom, but right above the bed it said like "Welcome to Pound Town."
I saw that. It's so bad. I saw that, and it was like perfectly framed in the door, and I'm like, oh my god. Okay, well.
Okay, I think the house sold though, so
I'm sure it did. There's collections. If you're looking for bad real estate pictures, there's definitely collections on Instagram and other places, and some of the things you might find there are shocking.
Yeah, but honestly, like I don't get mad at it. Doesn't bother me really, just because I know that when that person is ready to take that next step and make that investment, like they're gonna see a whole world of a difference. It's just gonna make your job easier at the end of the day. You're not gonna worry about one, taking the photos, posting them yourself. Two, you just have the work, like just the freedom of knowing you're having a professional come through, photograph the home. If your clients are there, like just know that you're good with the photographer that you have. And that's one thing that I am big on too, is just customer service. Like the technical side you can teach all day, but the soft skills and being nice to people, you can't really teach that. And that's something I take a lot of pride in with my clients, where I'm like, no matter what type of situation you have with your seller, like you'll know that they're in good hands with me. I'm not going to give them a bad experience. I will kill them with kindness and make sure that...
Well, it's an invasive time, right? So does the realtor meet you there typically, or do you go solo out to do the shoot?
It depends. Sometimes, they're there. Sometimes they're not. I prefer just going to a lockbox and just go doing my thing. Right. But there are some cases where I do like my realtor there, just so they can show me the house, do the walkthrough, and let me hear and see what they're seeing, what they're liking, so I can make sure I highlight that. But if the homeowner is there, I usually don't mind, especially because then I can get like a really good inside scoop of the house and be able to help bring some of that emotion out. No,
it makes sense. Like I was saying, it's a depending on the situation of why the person's selling, it can be a really hard time, and it's can be an invasive to have a bunch of people walking through your house, strangers, doing that thing. So it is really important and should not be overlooked that, well, we have all the technology and all that stuff's good, like good communication skills, good people skills, and customer service and empathy for people is probably the biggest asset that anyone can have in this business, is just being genuinely kind, right?
Seriously.
And so like once you get to that gate, then it's like, okay, then we've got all these cool tools and things that we can do, and helping you strategize on your listing and making sure that you're, people don't sell houses every day. Like people might sell one or two houses in their life, and like, how do you maximize the value and get the most cash out of the deal if that's your objective anyway. So what else should people know about Bay Area real estate, because you go well beyond some accounting, like you said? Any other trends or any other things that you're seeing in the clients that you're serving or the houses that you're working on, that you're like is an emerging trend that the audience should know about?
I wouldn't say necessarily with the houses or the market in general. Just a trend that I have been noticing a lot more is how much more realtors are now investing into their online brand. there is so much more just new videos coming up and just of market updates, or, this is what I get asked from buyers all the time, and just different short clips, short form content like that. And I think it's great that it's coming out there. I want more of it just because it helps the real estate market, helps other realtors. And now you're seeing like realtors come out with their own personalities, their own unique selling proposition. And it's like there's this one realtor who just raps the different songs. I don't know if you've seen him online.
Yeah.
And like, I just think that's so creative, and I just love watching content like that, and to be able to help somebody bring that out in them and be able to help them connect online, get more clients, which in turn help them build their business and have more money for their own family and stuff. It just brings me so much joy, and I would say that's probably the biggest market shift that I've seen so far in the last few months.
I've noticed a ton more video coming out, and like you said, short form, super important. Mm-hmm. People can't, we try to keep the podcast to be like under 40 minutes because people don't listen that long, right? And that's just the reality because people get distracted. So like that 30-second clip of that punchline, that piece of information, that thing that a home buyer, home seller needs to know, you have to make it. Like you just kind of have to force yourself, even if you're not comfortable behind the camera or in front of the camera, to make that content. I do wonder though, like now that a lot more people are doing that, like what's the next thing, right? Like there wasn't that many people making short form content. Now I see a lot more of it and more people, more faces, doing video. I wonder what the next trend is. I haven't quite figured that out yet. Like what do you have any guesses? Like what is that next trend that if you want to be ahead of the next wave, what should you be doing?
Being real. I see that there's so much AI, so much just, I wouldn't say fakeness, but just because of AI and just everything just going through this cog wheel that everybody's looking the same, everyone's sounding the same. There's a lot of same. And so I feel that there's going to be a lot more authenticity, a lot more realness, a lot more vulnerability that we're going to start seeing on the upward trend, just because people are tired of everything's not always perfect. Everything's not always sunshine and rainbows. There's parts of the real estate industry that suck being in it, whether you're a realtor, you're, mortgage lender, you're a photographer. And I think just being realistic about those things and being open to talk about them will really help separate, not necessarily, just diving into the bad stuff, but just having that vulnerable part. I could see a lot of people really just gravitating and wanting more and more and more of that because there's so much fluff out there. Yeah,
right. Like not everything in real life is Instagram perfect, right? It's a lot of bad stuff, a lot of hard days. And how do you communicate that in a way that is not like complaining, but more like you said, authentic, like this is a real thing that's happened, and it's not always, not every day is just selling $5 million houses, right? There's days where you're the gardener and you're, washing windows and doing whatever you have to do to make that house, stand out and be ready to sell for that client. Cool. What else should we know about you and your business? Obviously, like I said, we'll put links in show notes so people know how to reach out to you. And if they have a listing coming up, they should reach out to you sooner than later so that you can get on the schedule and do your intake and that sort of thing. Anything else about digital twinners or yourself that you want to share with the audience? And we'll wrap up from there.
Yeah. Oh, well, one more tip that I'd like to give when it comes to videos, and if you plan on doing videos on your own, the most important part of the video are the first 3 to 5 seconds. It's that hook. Now, however you start that hook doesn't really matter, but as long as it's catchy and it's hooky to where it's like, this is the 5 reasons why you shouldn't move to Sonoma County. Like instantly, I'm already hooked. I want to know why. Why shouldn't I move to Sonoma County if I'm already here? But then you can make a play on it where it's like, if there's so much wine here that you're going to drown in it. And if you live here in Sonoma County, and you don't like wine, it's going to suck, Yeah.
Well, it's true. And I'm watching, if it's not got my attention within a couple of seconds, I'm moving on.
Exactly. Right. So that's my tip of the day. But I guess about me, digital twinners, just know that if you decide to hire me, I am going to go above and beyond for you. I want to make sure that you look good, because at the end of the day, that reflects on me, and so you're not going to want to spread the word about me if I were to make you look bad. So just know that you're going to have a solution. I always want to be part of your solution rather than add to your problems. I'm very passionate about what I do, and I have to take a day off, but if I didn't have to, I would be working 7 days a week. But I really just love what I do. It doesn't really feel like work to me. And yeah, we just have a good time, you know. It's like working with friends rather than working with like a client. And you know, I'm your service provider. I really try to build relationships. I really want to make sure that when I'm photographing that home or creating that video for you, that it's exactly what you're looking for. It's on par to your brand, your vision, and that you're happy about it and you're wanting to share it and you're wanting to showcase it, and you get more clients from it. You end up getting more money, and the business goals and the personal goals that you have when you work with me, I know that will help you get that way, or
That's
help
awesome.
you get there.
Yes, and for the realtors that you work with that I know, they just love your work and love working with you, and can't say, you know, and nothing but good stuff about how you've emerged onto the scene and really are helping people sell for higher prices and helping people sell faster and just kind of overall optimizing their marketing and so on. So thank you so much for everything you're doing for the community, and thanks for being on the show, and we'll have you back sometime soon.
Oh, heck yeah. Let's do it.
Thanks.
Thank you. Sweet.
Stay up to date with Bay Area real estate. Hit subscribe now if you haven't already. Did you enjoy this episode? We love reviews in the Apple Podcasts app. We'll read yours on the show. This is By the Bay.
London Ear Media.